Jai Hind, dear students. I am Dr. Preeti, and today we are going to learn about writing the molecular formula of different compounds. This topic is really very important because in ninth standard you have many questions based on writing the molecular formula, as well as this topic is important for 10th standard students because in the first chapter of 10th standard only you are expected to write the balanced chemical equation. So before writing a balanced equation, you should be aware how you have to write the molecular formula. Because if you are not able to write the molecular formula, then you can't balance an equation because everything will be given in words only. For example, they ask you that aluminium sulfate is there or barium chloride is there. So you should know how to write these formula and then only you will be able to work it out further. So it's very important topic. Just pay attention and first I'll explain you some examples and then I'll ask you to work out some formula by your own. And at the end I will tell you what are the correct answers of those formula. So just work it out by yourself. Okay. So before writing the molecular formula, we should know the valencies because of monoatomic ions as well as polyatomic ions. We'll be reading both here. So uh, plus 1 is a valency. Now, what is the valency of different elements or different polyatomic ions? That all I have written. This is hydrogen ion, sodium, potassium. Ag stands for silver, so it's silver. Then it's copper, and this is ammonium ion. Remember, ammonia is different and this is ammonium ion. Now this is barium, magnesium, calcium, again copper, iron, zinc and lead. This is Pb stands for lead. Now you might be wondering that I have written copper in both the sides, +1 as well as +2. Because copper shows variable valency. Sometimes it's showing a valency of 1, sometimes it's showing a valency of 2. So it has variable valency, so I have written it in both the parts. Then comes the valency 3. Aluminium shows a valency of +3. But in nitrogen I have not written plus or minus because nitrogen usually form bonds by sharing. So it's not plus or minus because it's neither. What plus shows that it is giving some electrons. What minus shows is that it is taking some electrons. So I have not written any plus or minus because it is sharing the electrons, neither giving nor taking. And then comes iron. Iron also I have written in both the parts because iron shows +1, +2 as well as +3 valency. It is also showing variable valency. Okay. So Fe stands for iron. Then C, carbon. Carbon has a valency of 4. Again, it is going to share the electrons forming the bonds. Then we have oxide, O, -2. Then -2 is sulfide, sulfur. It's just below oxygen only in the periodic table. Then comes carbonate, -2. Then comes sulfate, that is SO4 -2. Okay. Then comes fluoride, -1. Chloride, bromide. I stands for iodide. Fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodide. They all belong to the same group of the periodic table. They are called halides or halogens. Then hydroxide ion is there. Then nitrate ion is there. NO3 -1. One more is there, bicarbonate or hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogen carbonate or bicarbonate is -1. These valencies are very important to work out the formula. I'll show you some examples that how to write the molecular formula. But before that, you can just take a screenshot of that, or I'll write 3 examples also and then you can take the screenshot. Okay. So when you have to work out the molecular formula, suppose we have to write the molecular formula of aluminium sulfate. Aluminium sulfate. Then what you can write? Aluminium stands for Al. Then sulfate, you can see it's here, SO4. Okay. Now whatever is the valency of sulfate, that was 2. So write beside aluminium. And what is the valency of aluminium? It's 3. So write underneath sulfate. Okay, but sulfate is a polyatomic ion. So we have to make it whole thrice. Okay, so when we have to write the formula for aluminium sulfate, it becomes Al2SO4 whole thrice. Why whole thrice? Because we have to take 3 polyatomic ions, 3 molecules, like 3 parts of sulfate. Okay, why we are doing so, why it is being balanced like this, that also I'll explain you. Aluminium has a valency of 3, so it is going to give 3 electrons. Okay, so if it is having a valency of 3 and sulfate has a valency of 2, okay, any molecule should be electrically neutral. It should be electrically neutral. So if we multiply aluminium with 2, it becomes plus 6, and when we multiply sulfate ions with 3, because we have taken 3 sulfate ions, so that also becomes 6. So plus 6 and minus 6 are going to balance each other, neutralize each other, and so our molecule will become electrically neutral. This all you never need to explain anyone, never need to write anywhere in your answers, but this is a concept, so you should know why we are making it 2, why we are taking 3 atoms or 3 parts of sulfate ion. Okay, so that is there. Now next compound, magnesium hydroxide. Like take an example of magnesium hydroxide. So magnesium is Mg and hydroxide is OH. Now, how many atoms of, what is the valency of OH? It's 1, so you need not write 1. When it is 1, you need not write that. What is the valency of magnesium? You can see it's plus 2, so that you have to write. Since again it is a polyatomic ion, both oxygen and hydrogen are there, so both of them needs to be multiplied with 2, and so we get MgOH whole twice as the formula of magnesium hydroxide. Okay, now just let us work out one more formula, that is calcium oxide. We have calcium oxide. Okay, now valency of calcium is 2 and oxide is also 2. Since both of them are having valency 2, so instead of writing 2, 2 for both of them, we just don't use any valencies for that. That if there is a common digit by which they could be cancelled out, that is cancelled out, and we are just left with CaO, calcium oxide. Okay, by this only, one last thing that we are going to work out is the formula of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, you all know it's CO2. So why it's CO2? Okay, carbon has a valency of 4 and oxygen has a valency 2. So it should be carbon के नीचे oxygen की valency and oxygen के नीचे carbon की valency. So it should be C2 or 4. But is there any common number by which both of them could be divided? Yeah, it's 2. So we divide the whole by 2, and that is why we get the formula of carbon dioxide as CO2. Okay, it's not written as C2O4. You all know it very well that it's written as CO2. But why it's written as CO2? That you should know. Okay, I'll just shift aside. You can take a screenshot and you should be having this so that you will be working out the formula. Okay, fine. Everyone, before moving to the next part of the video, just pause the video, note it down in your, don't only just take the screenshot, note it down in your copy so that you are able to work out the formula by your own. I hope you have understood how to work out the formula. So, I am giving you 30 names, and for those 30 names, you all have to write the molecular formula. Okay, I'll call out the name and just pause the video after every name, write the formula by your own, work it out either by crisscross method. If you are in 9th standard, then you can just do the crisscross method. How will do the crisscross method? For example, you are expected to write sodium sulfate. So how you write it? Sodium is plus 1, sulfate is minus 2. we use the crisscross method, and under sodium we write valency of sulfate, and under sulfate we write the valency of sodium. It's one only, so we need not write that. Okay, so if you are in 9th standard, work out each formula by this crisscross method. If you are in 10th standard right now, then no need to work out the crisscross method. Just write down the formula. Okay, of whatever compounds I am telling you, just try to write the formula by your own, and I really guarantee you that if you are able to work out these formula well, then it will be really helpful for you all for chemistry throughout your life. Okay, so just work it out by yourself. I'm calling out the names. Pause after every name. Just write it by your own and then restart the video. Okay, first is barium chloride. Second, aluminium sulfate. Third, aluminium chloride. Fourth, barium sulfate. Fifth is sodium hydroxide. Sixth, hydrogen chloride. Seventh is nitric acid. Okay, it might be new for you if you are in 9th standard. I'll let you know what is nitric acid. Nitric acid, it's very important, so you should know. Next is hydrogen sulfate. In bracket write sulfuric acid. Hydrogen sulfate, its common name is sulfuric acid. Next is ammonia. 9th is ammonia. 10th is hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide. Earlier it was 8th was hydrogen sulfate. 10th is hydrogen sulfide. Sulfate and sulfide are different. Okay. Next is sodium sulfate. 12th is sodium nitrate. 13th one is calcium carbonate. 14, zinc sulfate. 15, copper chloride. 16, potassium iodide. 17, potassium sulfate. 18, barium iodide. 19, calcium hydroxide. 20, ferrous sulfate. Wherever the valency of iron is 2, it's written as ferrous. I told you, iron has variable valency +2 and +3. So wherever it's +2, it's written as ferrous, and wherever it's +3, it's written as ferric. Okay, so +2 is ferrous and +3 is ferric. Write it down. 21, lead oxide. 22, silver chloride. 23, lead nitrate. 24, carbon chloride. Actually, it's called carbon tetrachloride. Okay, carbon chloride. 25, magnesium chloride. 26, aluminium oxide. 27, calcium oxide. Calcium oxide's common name is quicklime. 28, ammonium sulfate. 29 is sodium oxide. And 30 is copper nitrate. Okay, so I hope You all have written these formula. There is no benefit for you all if you just look at the video and don't work it out by yourself. Okay, so everyone try to work out the formula by yourself. Try to make out how many of you have done correct and how many of you have done incorrect. Whatever is your whatever you have made mistake in, just try that you don't repeat the mistake next time. Okay, so I'll be writing all the formula on the board. Okay, I'm erasing this off and writing all the formula on the board. So at end you can just take a screenshot also, but before that you just check it by yourself that whether you have done it correct or not. Okay, so before looking at the answers, try to do it by yourself, and I would expect you all to write your scores. Okay, give yourself 1 mark since everything in that formula is correct. You have written it correct, then give yourself +1. If you have made a mistake, just give a 0 for yourself and post your scores in the comment section. I would really be so happy to see your scores, whatever it is. Okay, but honestly, post your scores. So first was barium chloride. Quickly, I'll be writing it. Barium chloride is BaCl2 because barium has a valency 2 and chloride valency is 1. So chloride की valency barium के नीचे and barium की valency chloride के नीचे. Then second is aluminium sulfate. I already worked it out for you in the explanation part only. Third is aluminium chloride. Aluminium की valency 3, chloride की valency 1. So it will be under aluminium. Fourth is barium sulfate. Both have a valency of 2, so that will be cancelled with each other. Sodium hydroxide. You only need to remember that OH is hydroxide ion. Sodium hydroxide is there. Both have valency both have valency 1. Next is hydrogen chloride. It's the same R. Hydrogen chloride that is the acid present in stomach also. Next is nitric acid. Nitric acid, you should remember, it's HNO3. Nitric acid, the name doesn't suggest what is it. So you should remember it's HNO3. Then we have sulfuric acid or hydrogen sulfate, that is H2SO4. Sulfate की valency 2, hydrogen की valency 1. Ninth is ammonia. Ammonia, you should remember, it's NH3. You should have to learn it that ammonia is nitrogen hydrate नहीं बोलते इसको, तो it's NH3. Nitrogen and hydrogen are there. Nitrogen की valency I told you it's 3, hydrogen की valency 1. So by the same crisscross method you can work it out. Next is hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide. Now here it was hydrogen sulfate and it's here hydrogen sulfide. So remember we have written the valency of sulfide and sulfate both. The 11th one is sodium sulfate. 12th is sodium nitrate. 13th is calcium carbonate. Carbonate has valency 2, calcium also has a valency 2. So both will be cancelled out and we just write it CaCO3. Now we have zinc sulfate. Then we have copper chloride. Here the valency of copper is 2. In such questions might be, we commonly write as copper chloride as CuCl2, but you might be given that copper 2 chloride. Sometimes with compounds of iron and copper, they just given the bracket in Roman numbers that it's copper 2 chloride. It's written like this. That represents the valency of copper here is 2. But even if 9th standard students have made a mistake in this, then it's fine. But for 10th standard students, I hope you are acquainted with that this copper chloride is CuCl2. Now, next is potassium iodide. Then we have potassium sulfate. 17th was potassium sulfate. So sulfate valency is 2 and potassium's valency is 1. Then we have barium iodide. Then we have calcium hydroxide. Then we have ferrous sulfate. Ferrous, I told you it's +2. Wherever ferrous word is there, it's +2. And sulfate is -2. So both cancel out each other. Next is lead oxide. Lead +2, oxygen -2. Next is silver chloride. Next is lead nitrate. Lead is having a valency 2, so it's written below nitrate, and nitrate has a valency 1, so it's written under lead, so 1 need not be written. Okay. Then comes carbon tetrachloride or carbon chloride, whatever it's written, but you know that carbon has a valency 4 and carbon has a valency, chloride has valency 1. Okay. Then 25th is magnesium chloride. Then aluminium oxide. Then calcium oxide, it's also known as quicklime. So calcium +2, oxygen is -2, so balance each other. Here aluminium oxide or aluminium has a valency of 3, which is written under oxygen, and oxygen has a valency of 2, which is written under aluminium. Then we have ammonium sulfate. Ammonium has a valency of 1 and sulfate has a valency of 2. तो सल्फेट की वैलेंसी अमोनियम के नीचे एंड अमोनियम की वैलेंसी 1 है, so you need not write it under sulfate, ammonium sulfate. Then comes sodium oxide, and the last one is copper nitrate. Copper nitrate. Okay. So just work out all these, and I would really be waiting to see your scores. So post your scores in the comment section. I would be happy to see whatever is your score. Don't hesitate about it. If you have got good marks or less, but just show improvement, that work out each and every formula, and just work out everything, and so that you don't make the mistake next time. Okay, these formula are very important throughout your future in chemistry in 9th as well as in 10th standard, not only in 9th and 10th, in 11th standard, 12th standard also. If you're opting for maths or biology, then also these formula will be there with you. Okay, so everyone work it out, post your scores in the comment section. That's all for today. I'll just shift to side and you can take a screenshot of the same. Good day everyone.